Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the first video back from my skydiving video. If you haven't already seen it, I highly recommend you go check it out. It did not go as planned. I could even say it was a gone wrong type situation. So if you want to hear why and what I did wrong, wait till the end of the video. And it is Monday, so that means the markets opened up this morning and silver just took off running. Didn't even look back. Last week was nothing. A lot of people were freaking out, thinking they made a mistake, not purchasing silver when it was cheap last week because they said, oh, what was I thinking? Silver was never going to do anything. I was wrong. Folks, this is what I kept telling you guys. Wednesday last week, they had the FOMC meeting, a very important meeting. It didn't go too well for silver. Then Friday, the non-farm payrolls, it didn't really do too much. But then opening up today, we see this. That's why I was telling everyone, just because a certain event on a specific day might not be bullish for silver does not mean that in the next week, even in the next couple of days, there won't be something that happens that is bullish. But before I continue on my rant, I wanted to mention something that is pretty cool and I think you guys will really appreciate. So it's Monday, so our new weekly specials from Miles Franklin should be out by the time you watch this video. They aren't out yet because I'm recording this video earlier in the day, but you could just email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, and ask what the deals are this week, and I will update them in the pinned comment. So if you guys wanted to either get the deals or our new price sheet for this week, then let me know. But I'm also going to start doing something else. I'm going to start offering flash sales. Like, let's say in a couple of days from now, I'll say, flash sale for the next 5 hours, Eagles are 5% off, or something along those lines. Now, this will not go for everyone at Miles Franklin. It's specifically through me. I will be taking the loss of profit. So if you have a broker through Miles Franklin, don't say, oh, Slayer just said for the next 4 hours, Eagles are 5% off. He'll say, what are you talking about? It's only through me. I just want to make sure you guys know that. This is still a very early work in progress, but I'm also thinking about something else. I'm also thinking about doing something like after 5 orders, you get a certain percentage off, and then maybe like after 20 orders, you get a larger percentage off. So it's rewarding those that are loyal and that continue to come back. I don't know exactly what the percentages are. I have to make sure that I'm not literally losing money, and obviously like it's gonna take a little bit of time, but let me know if you guys like this concept, this idea. I'm always trying to innovate, I'm always trying to grow, I'm always trying to reward those as well, especially those that support me and give back. So just let me know and I will consider it. Nothing I've said is set in stone. The percentages aren't. The amount of orders you place before you get a discount isn't set in stone. I don't know yet. It's still a very early work in progress. But slayer@milesfranklin.com, and I'll work with you. So let me continue on this rant. Okay, so remember last week I was telling everyone Wednesday was a big day. Silver was going to do something very dramatic, and it did. And people started getting worried. Well, then we had Thursday come, and I was telling everyone this is a big week. I made that video. This week is huge for silver. Then everyone was like, okay, well, why? Wednesday already happened. I was like, no, Friday didn't happen yet, though. And I was telling everyone, wait before you start to freak out. Everyone instantly, within a 2-day period, went from being extremely confident in silver to just giving up all hope. All hope. It's insane. I was telling everyone a wrench will get thrown in. And not even just a wrench, there's more events coming up on Friday. And then the next week, there's more events that are going to be coming up that will affect the price. So just because Wednesday happens and it pushes price down, and then maybe Friday happens and it goes down even more, and you're reading an article that's saying, oh, silver is looking very bearish, that doesn't mean within the next 3-4 days there's going to be something that happens that's bullish for silver. See, people, and I kept telling people, step outside and look at the bigger picture. You're so narrowed down in this 24-hour perspective that it's hard to even break out of that and see, whoa, wait, okay, well, yeah, today maybe it's looking pretty bad. Within 4 days from now, there's still 2 more things that are going to happen that will dramatically affect the price. But then imagine in 2 months from now, and I even made that metaphor or that comparison, right? Imagine in like 4 months from now, how many things are going to happen that is going to benefit silver. The economy's not getting any better. The wars aren't getting any better. We have the November election. The dollar's not getting any stronger. The debt's not the debt's not going away. The silver shortage is only getting worse. But when people look at the day-to-day things with emotional attachment, it's going to make you do very irrational things. That's why I say invest with your head, not your heart. But regardless, I just wanted to go over that because it, you know, like when on Wednesday, when I was seeing all that and I'm reading the comments and people are saying, oh, you know, I knew this would happen, whatever. It's kind of frustrating because I'm like, I wish you guys could just like fast forward 4 days in the future and go back and read your comment. See, like, because I already know what's going to happen because I've been through this so many times. But a lot of new people, they comment thinking like, oh, I knew it. And then they look really silly right afterwards. And sometimes that makes them build resentment and then they don't even like silver. The same thing happened with Bitcoin. A lot of people were hating on Bitcoin so much in the beginning. So then after it took off, they're like, oh, well, now it hurt their ego because then they look silly hating on everyone that bought Bitcoin at $800. So then they really don't want to touch it because then they feel like they're a hypocrite and then they end up missing out even more. So this is why you gotta, there's a lot of psychology that goes behind investing. And rightfully so. You're talking about decision making. So let's go over this article right here. Silver price forecast, potential Fed rate cuts driving strong demand. Silver climbs 1.84%, and that is by a weaker U.S. dollar. U.S. job additions fall short. Unemployment rises to 3.9%. Anticipated Fed rate cut boosts silver market sentiment. U.S. economic data influences silver prices. Silver prices climbed on Monday, supported by a softening U.S. dollar in response to disappointing job data, which has fueled trader speculation about potential Federal Reserve rate cuts this year. Economic indicators and Treasury yields. We have the U.S. jobs data market underperforming in April, with only 175,000 new jobs added, significantly lower than expected of the 240,000. Wow. And that's as reported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The unemployment rate unexpectedly increased to 3.9% and wage growth decelerated, suggesting possible labor market cooling. Interesting. This situation is influencing the Fed's interest rate decisions. Meanwhile, Treasury yields fell within the 10-year Treasury. This is decreasing by 2 basis points to 4.475%, and the 2-year yield dropping by 1 basis point to 4.789%. This shift in yields reflects a growing anticipation of a less aggressive Fed. Then you have dollar weakness in silver pricing. Following the unemployment report, the dollar index reached a 3-week low of 104.52, enhancing the attractiveness of silver as it becomes more affordable in other countries. That's a huge thing to take note of. The lower interest rates anticipated could further reduce the opportunity costs of holding non-yielding assets like silver. So see, all of this came out within the following days after you heard all of that bullish or the bearish talk about silver. So when I'm telling people when silver's down, it's like down low 26, and I'm reading an article where they're talking about silver being down, that should not affect your perspective. If anything, you should just say, this is awesome, I get to get it cheaper, because I know if not tomorrow or the next day something's going to happen that pushes it back up, I know for sure within the next week or two, or especially within the next 2 months, can't even imagine the next 2 years. That's how you have to think. If you're caught up in the day-to-days, you're going to get lost because things are happening too fast. There's too much movement. Maybe if this was 10, 20 years ago, then yeah, a situation that happens one day could affect the prices for much longer, but there's too much happening. But the whole point is all that is happening is bullish for silver, not bearish. Short-term market forecast. Given the current economic indicators and market sentiment, the outlook for silver is bullish in the short term. The likelihood of a Fed rate cut by September, now seen as a 71% probability according to CME's FedWatch tool, should continue to support higher silver prices. And let me pause real quick. My video last week, I said this is a big deal for silver. I titled the video that, this is a big deal for silver. And everyone was like, why? What's a big deal? The prices didn't do anything. Or you know, how did they word this? I should go back and actually read what I responded. They're basically saying that what I was saying wasn't a big deal, but it was a massive deal. It was a massive deal. And this is why I knew people commented on that and didn't even watch my video or just assumed what I was saying wasn't a big deal, but it was. And this is proof of it. Because last week was critical for silver. We had Wednesday and Friday. And The whole point of those two situations was, even with negative sentiment, silver still did not break below 26. It held its ground even with bad things pushing against it, which means there's extremely strong support, which is even better now because now you see silver bouncing up from the Friday stuff with the non-farm payrolls. So we have a situation where even when bad things happen, it doesn't break below high 26, which is massive because $26, $27 silver is extremely high. Remember, the last 10 years, silver's average price was $15, around that, right? The last 10 years. The majority of my stacking career, silver's been $15. So $26, $27 for silver to sit at its bottom is a big deal. Not saying that is set in stone in terms of like that is 100%, but that's what it's looking like. Every time it starts to drop, it bounces back around, well above 26, which is a huge deal. That really is. So when I was saying that Wednesday and Friday, silver's still up, that is a big deal. That's a huge deal. But people I don't think understood how big of a deal that was and how bad things could have gone if it would have broken below that, especially if it broke below that on Wednesday, and then Friday the news would have confirmed it even further, pushing it down even lower. We would have been in a crap show. Anyway, I shouldn't be responding to stupid people that don't understand my videos or what I'm talking about, but still, that was a big deal last week. So silver's trading higher on Monday after a breakout of a 4-day range. This move puts it within striking distance of a swing top at $27.73. A trade through this price will shift momentum to the upside, changing short-term trade to upwards. On the downside, though, the trade through 2602 will reaffirm the short-term downtrend. This could test or lead to test the low 50-day of 2586. This indicator is controlling the intermediate term trend. Now, right now, with silver sitting at 2750, I don't see that happening, but just saying that would be the possibility if silver would break below 2602. But when you're talking about half a dollar and a half higher, we don't, that's not something I'd really focus on. But anyways, now let me talk about what happened last weekend. Because, okay, so if anyone didn't watch my video, I went skydiving for 100,000 subscribers, right? I wanted to do an epic giveaway, and I was like, what's the craziest thing someone can do? Skydiving is obviously that. So I was like, okay, well, I got to do a skydiving giveaway, right? I got to go skydiving for hitting 100,000 celebration, do a giveaway, announce the winners' names while I'm in the airplane. So that's what I did. The time came, and I really wasn't thinking about it at all until I was in the airplane. Like, my way of not being scared of something is just distracting myself until I'm right in the situation. Like, the first time I even felt fear was literally while we opened up the door and I was looking down at clouds miles below my feet. We were 15,000 feet in the air, so we were miles above clouds. Like, miles above clouds. Like, there's pictures of me where the clouds look like little dots way below me. So that's the first time I felt fear. That wasn't the last time, though. Like they said, that, as soon as you jump out of the plane, it's going to be bliss and you're going to be great. That was not the case at all. See, I was so focused on nothing that I forgot to focus on everything that I should be. Like, how am I going to breathe? How do you breathe? I didn't think about that at all. That didn't cross my mind once. Not one time. That's like the most important thing, how you're going to breathe. But I never thought about that. I'm just thinking about how crazy it's going to be jumping out of an airplane. When you're on the highway and you stick your head out of the car window and it's hard to breathe? That's what that felt like times 1,000. See, when I jumped out, I had my mouth open because I was just like, I froze up. I wasn't breathing through my nose like I guess you're supposed to do. Nobody told me that. I mean, it's obvious now thinking back, but like in the moment, breathing was the last thing I thought about. That wasn't even on my mind once. I never thought about that one time. To be honest, I was thinking I probably would have a helmet or something, like the guy behind, like my tandem diver had with me, but it just never even hit me. So I'm falling from the free fall. I'm like barely breathing. I'm like gasping for air. The air's way thinner up there as well. So I'm like so close to passing out. And the guy that's filming me, he's pointing to his nose. So like I'm thinking like, okay, well, when you're already gasping for breath, when there's wind hitting you, when you're going that fast, it's hard to stop breathing from your mouth to your nose. It's like almost impossible. So I'm just in this situation where like I'm just trying not to like pass out. When I'm supposed to be like enjoying this part, supposed to be all fun, I'm just sitting there like trying not to die. And then they pull the chute, and then once they pull the chute and there's like the canopy, that was fine. You know, I was able to breathe then, but it was that initial 2 mile free fall. I was like straight panic mode, so I did not enjoy that at all. I would never do that again unless I had a helmet where I wouldn't have to worry about breathing, like the whole face mask helmet, like my diver, my dive guide or whatever they're called had. So that was not fun. It was not fun at all. I know I was supposed to, I guess, enjoy it, but I wasn't going to enjoy it. My whole point of going there wasn't like, ooh, I want to go skydiving. My whole point was doing this because I wanted to do a giveaway for you guys and make an epic content. So I probably went there with the wrong mindset, right? Everyone else is going there is like, I want to go skydiving. Me, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I'm doing this almost like as a dare to myself because I told my subscribers if I hit 100,000, when I do, I'll do this. So like it wasn't supposed to be fun for me, I guess, or I wasn't thinking from that perspective. I guess I should have. I would have enjoyed it more maybe, but I wasn't going there like, oh, this is going to be so fun. I was like, dude, this is going to suck. So yeah, I guess afterwards it was pretty exhilarating. If you guys watched the video at the end, you could see me. I was just like so glad to be back on the ground. I wasn't scared at all. I really wasn't scared at all, but the only point I was scared was when I couldn't breathe. But I wasn't scared of like, ooh, like I'm about to maybe die or something. Jumping out of the plane, I wasn't really scared. It was just not being able to breathe. That's all it was. Not in the airplane, I wasn't scared going up when we were 15,000 feet in the air. Wasn't scared. I just couldn't breathe, and I did not want to faint. Because if I fainted or like passed out, I don't know how how the guy strapped onto me, how he would be able to like adjust or manipulate the situation so I don't fall out the harness or whatever. I'm sure I'd have been fine, but man, that was insane. So anyways, yeah, that's my little story. You guys can go watch the video. I love you all. Remember, slayer@milesfranklin.com. Maybe the deals will be out by now. So just email me. I'm going to get a phone number set up. So, because right now you guys get my phone number, but that's after you email me. But I'm going to get a phone number where I can just put it on this video, say, hey, call this number and reach out. And I'm going to get the newsletter. I have to figure out how to export contacts from Microsoft and then import them to the newsletter site that I use, which is Constant Contact. So that's the whole process. But yeah, anyways, a lot of stuff's happened behind the scenes, I promise. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in to Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.